What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 100% Chelsea and welcome to your opposition preview. Obviously, this is coming out after the video game. We're filming it before the video game, so if anything changes in between, we are very sorry. But we are joined, as always, if we're playing Southampton, there's only one man you can speak to. That is Freddie from the ugly side. Mate, good to see you. How you doing?
Not too bad, mate. Been a long week and probably a defeat already on the cards for Saturday. I'm not feeling too confident on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think that this season you guys haven't been great. I think Mark Hughes was an odd appointment, if I'm honest, in terms of keeping you up. Obviously, he did it, but it's this season which is going to be the killer. But you guys seem to have not come out of the blocks. You seem to be lacking in midfield and stuff. For me, that's what I feel anyway. And obviously it is going to be in our favour for Sunday. But I mean, what are your thoughts on how to proceed and what are we got to worry about on Sunday?
First thing, I want to address the appointment of Mark Hughes. Probably at the time, he was probably the right candidate for the job. I think the other candidates were Marco Silva and a couple others that really had not so much Premier League experience, and we simply couldn't afford to gamble anymore. As for the start of the season, yeah, underwhelming, below expectations, you've got to say. Once again, Saints have been handed favourable first few fixtures, and we've only picked up 5 in the first 7 games. So definitely probably where a lot of people would expect us to be, around the bottom. And I think it is going to be a struggle this season. We haven't really invested too much, and the players that have come in haven't really hit the ground running just yet. And we're struggling for points. We're struggling to see off games. We're going ahead and we're still giving away leads, just like what you saw back in April.
Yeah, I think speaking of giving away leads, I think, to be honest, the biggest miss, you haven't replaced Virgil van Dijk. That's what I feel anyway. Since January, you've been lacking a commanding centre half, and he was obviously the man that kind of pulled you by the scruff of your neck to Europa League football. And obviously, you guys were playing fantastic football. You've been superb throughout the past few seasons you've been in the Premier League. But as you're saying, you haven't really replaced players. And despite, I think for me, obviously Nathan Redmond's a player which everyone always talks about. He is a superb player. There is no doubt about that. But why are Southampton not as poignant as they used to be with players such as Nathan Redmond?
Well, the simple answer is that our assets have been stripped from us every single season. Every time that somebody has a good year, such as Virgil van Dijk, such as Lallana, Shaw, Lambert, you can reel them off. Reel them off your fingers and toes. You run out of players. But what it is, you've hit the nail on the head as an outsider looking in. We've failed to replace the leadership and the quality from Virgil van Dijk. He's a prime example. We've tried to continue in the same philosophy in investing into sort of young talent from the obscurities of Europe, develop them into players, and then so the board keeps saying that's our model, that's our philosophy, to produce these players, then probably sell them on. We're lacking a leader on the pitch. Yoshida's not been anywhere in the first team in the Premier League this season. He captained quite a few times, last season. Stephen Davis as well, experienced head captain for Northern Ireland, not in the first team. So we've got a captain right now, Ryan Bertrand, who isn't a leader. Of course, you know a lot about Ryan Bertrand. Won the Champions League with you, almost seems like an eternity ago. 6 years ago, 2012, right? But Bertrand's not the type of leader like Virgil van Dijk would take the game, give an ear roll to his colleagues, and he just cannot motivate. I'm so frustrated with Ryan Bertrand. He's got all the ability in the world to get down the left-hand side, but sometimes he just doesn't look interested. He's lost the ball quite a few times this season, looked around, shrugged his shoulders. Looks like he doesn't care sometimes.
I mean, that's not exactly what you want in a leader, but I mean, Ryan Bertrand was obviously touted to come back to Chelsea a couple of seasons ago. Obviously now that's died. We have got Marcus Alonso, we've got Emerson. I mean, obviously Ryan Bertrand will probably go ahead of both of them in my opinion at the left back slot. But I mean, you're saying you're lacking a leader. There's been a lot of negatives, but there has to be some hope in that squad, surely. Like, who is the person to watch out for?
Yeah, so actually, I totally forgot about the chap you spoke about just a moment ago. Nathan Redmond has looked a totally different player this season. Like you say, a lot of people look at Nathan Redmond with the potential into excellence, and that's the slogan that Southampton die by almost. It's plastered around the Staplewood training ground, but Nathan Redmond has come back a totally different player this season. He went away in the summer, went to a fitness camp, camp off of his own back, actually in the same fitness camp with Daniel Sturridge, I think it was. But he's looked like a fresh player this season, playing without fear, playing with freedom as well, creating a lot of opportunities, getting to the byline, created once more another goal on Tuesday night at Everton. You know, all he needs now is just a goal and he'll be on top of the world. Nathan Redmond, certainly one to watch, causing fullbacks all sorts of problems, turning them inside out at the moment, and playing with the world at his feet, maybe.
Yeah, he's always been someone that I've highly rated. You know, he even at Norwich, Birmingham, if you want to go that far back, you know, he's always been a fantastic player. One player that I've been very interested in and keeping an eye on while he's been at Southampton, obviously, he was having fun at Burnley. Danny Ings obviously fell off the map, but now he seems to be making a comeback with you guys. Obviously, scoring against Everton the other night. I think is it 4-7, if I'm correct.
Yeah, he's a top scorer, 4 goals in all comps. Yeah.
So how's he shaping up? Is he a signing which is making you feel better about your options up front? Obviously, him and Charlie Austin, you know, you're going to need them this season. Obviously, we've already stated in your video, you know, you guys could be in for a bit of a battle this season in terms of Premier League status with Mark Hughes. Is he the man to lead the line for you guys, and is he someone that we should be worried about?
Yeah, I think it's obvious for the first few games. Since he came in on deadline day, he's lifted the squad, galvanised the front lines, providing most of our goals. Charlie Austin's not actually getting so much into the first team at the moment. Shane Long is keeping him out. A striker with about 2 goals to his name in 2 years. It's terrible. But what Shane Long does, he runs into the channels, creates a space, wins free kicks and fouls on the edge and in dangerous areas. And Danny Ings is playing off that freedom with Shane Long. He's creating the fouls. Danny Ings is getting himself into great areas, being John on the spot a couple of times, taking the opportunities when they fall to him, and that's what we've lacked over the last year or two as well. You know, players not getting enough service, and perhaps players not taking their chances when they're given to them. So Danny Ings, been wonderful since he's come back, and he's loving life. He's come back to his hometown club. He's now living back in Southampton. He grew up here. He loves it here, and he loves playing for Red and Whites.
Well, that's always an important thing. If you've got a centre forward who's happy, that's what matters, and that's how they produce the goals for you. But we've gone through the positives. Now it's going to go to the dark bit. Let's talk about the negatives. Where can we exploit you?
Well, first of all, our defence probably lacks a bit of pace, certainly in the central defence, with Wesley Hoot and Yannick Vestergaard picking up a lot of criticism over the last few weeks. Maybe at fault once again for a couple of the goals at Wolverhampton a couple of weekends ago. And, you know, Yannick Vestergaard, I think I remember hearing somewhere he's got about 30 on the pace on FIFA and this year's stats. So if Eden Hazard turns up on his day, if in his form, then I'm sure Vestergaard will be turned inside out from Hazard. But I think also, you know, he's also one to watch. Vestergaard. He's 6'7", so technically the tallest player outfield in the Premier League. But
I remember hearing that in the Southampton Brighton preview stuff. The commentary.
So, you know, what he can offer is obviously a big presence in the air, but at the moment it looks a bit like Bambi on ice, a bit lost in the Premier League sometimes. But I'm willing to give him time. And who, you know, it was like watching a comedy sketch at Liverpool a couple of weeks ago. His own goal, couldn't figure out his feet, bounced off his shin, and we're down 1-0 after 10 minutes. So those two, it's a lot of thought to be desired to, especially there's a bit of debate whether Yoshida should come back and lead the team in the defence, or whether, you know, we should reintroduce Bednarek, who scored against Chelsea earlier this year, and Jack Stevens as well, who's hungry to get back in the team.
Well, I mean, that's always a good sign for us. I mean, we don't have a centre forward at the minute, to be honest. So hopefully Hazard can exploit that. But we've gone through the positives, we've gone through the negatives. Let's end the video. Let's talk about how you think it's going to shape up, and how this game and how your season may progress as well.
I think it's fair to say that we're not expecting too much from the weekend. There's probably a reason why the bookies have already got Chelsea on odds-on favourite to take a win away from St Mary's. I just want us to turn out with expression. I want us to play with some freedom and actually take a bit of the game to Chelsea. We went up to Liverpool with a defeatist attitude, and we played a 4-5-1, and we simply just tried to play damage limitation that game, and thankfully we didn't concede too many in the second half. Whereas Chelsea, we've got home support. Hopefully the boys, everybody gets behind the boys at the weekend, and maybe that's the reason why some of our results haven't come at home as well. The crowd are quick to criticise and not actually support too much. But I just hope we generate a bit of atmosphere. It will affect the players on the pitch, and hopefully we can pick up a point. If we pick up a point, I'll be delighted, but I'm not expecting too much. As for the season, yeah, we know our expectations now. I think we've certainly overachieved in the few years we returned to the Premier League, and I think this is where we're going to be in amongst it with the rest of them. Anyone from 7th down could really get relegated.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens at the weekend. Obviously, we will be down there. We'll be speaking to Freddie as well post-game. Maybe, if we're about, a bit of pre-game content, Freddie. Fancy it?
Yeah, I might see in the pub.
Yeah, that sounds good. We might go to the pub, might have a pint. But lads, listen, make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea. Also, social media, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, and Instagram. Obviously, Freddie, where can people find you?
Yeah, you can join us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all of that. We've also got our build-up show with you, of course, available to download as a podcast, so you can listen to us on the go now. So search for us, The Ugly Inside. Thanks for having me, Louis.
Thank you for coming on, mate. I appreciate it. Always nice to speak to you guys. Thank you to Freddie down in the comments. Takes a lot of his time out to this. Works really hard. It's one of the best fan channels out there in terms of people who, just honest guys who work hard. So massive plaudits to Freddie and the other people at The Ugly Inside as well. But guys, listen, make sure to subscribe. Take care, and we will see you very, very soon.